Picture this, lush, vibrant plants completely untouched by pests. Sounds like a fantasy, right? If you've ever felt the soul-crushing disappointment of finding your prized tomatoes riddled with holes, or your beautiful roses covered in aphids, then you know the struggle is real. But what if you could have a garden so healthy, so protected that pests simply stand no chance? This comprehensive guide will equip you with the exact strategies to achieve that perfect garden once and for all. Your beautiful garden is essentially a 5-star buffet for pests, even if you don't see them lurking yet. Every plant you lovingly tend represents a potential feast for countless insects, mites, and other invaders who view your hard work as their personal paradise. The harsh reality is that garden pests don't take summer vacations or politely wait for convenient times to attack. They're opportunistic creatures that exploit every weakness, every moment of inattention, and every gap in your defenses. Understanding exponential growth is crucial to adopting a zero-tolerance mindset. A single aphid can produce up to 80 offspring in just 1 week, and those offspring can begin reproducing within days. This means that just a few aphids can quickly become thousands, transforming from a minor annoyance into a garden catastrophe faster than you can imagine. Spider mites reproduce even more rapidly in hot weather, with populations doubling every 3 to 7 days under optimal conditions. Waiting for just a few pests to become a noticeable problem is like ignoring a small leak in your roof until it becomes a flood. The damage compounds exponentially, and what could have been prevented with minimal intervention becomes a major restoration project. Zero tolerance means recognizing that early intervention is always more effective, less expensive, and less damaging to your plants than reactive measures after an infestation has taken hold. Spider mites represent one of the most destructive yet overlooked threats in summer gardens. These microscopic arachnids thrive in hot, dry conditions, and can completely devastate plants before gardeners even realize they're present. The telltale signs include fine webbing on leaf undersides, stippled or bronzed leaves, and a general decline in plant vigor. Spider mites are particularly dangerous because they feed by piercing plant cells and sucking out the contents, causing cellular damage that appears as tiny yellow or white spots. Left unchecked, they can cause complete defoliation and plant death. Tomato hornworms are the stealth bombers of the garden world. These large green caterpillars can strip a tomato plant bare in just a few days, yet they're masters of camouflage. Look for missing leaves with only the stems remaining dark green or black droppings on leaves and soil, and small round holes in green tomatoes. Adult hornworms can reach 4 inches in length and consume enormous amounts of foliage daily. The key to controlling them is understanding their life cycle and catching them before they reach full size and maximum destructive potential. The aphid apocalypse represents perhaps the most complex pest challenge because these soft-bodied insects multiply rapidly and attract secondary problems. Aphids not only weaken plants by sucking sap, but also secrete honeydew, which attracts ants and promotes sooty mold growth. They can also transmit viral diseases between plants, making them particularly dangerous in vegetable gardens. August populations explode because warm temperatures accelerate their reproduction cycle, and many beneficial predators may be less active during peak summer heat. Physical barriers represent your first line of defense and often the most effective long-term strategy. Row covers made from lightweight fabric or fine mesh create an impenetrable barrier against flying insects while still allowing air, light, and water to reach your plants. So, the key to success with row covers is, honestly, all about timing and proper installation. You want to install them right after planting or transplanting. Yeah, just get them on there immediately. Make sure the edges are either buried or weighted down so pests can't sneak in underneath. Now, when it comes to fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers, and squash, you'll actually need to remove the covers during flowering to allow for pollination. But don't worry, this usually lines up with the time when your plants are most established and resilient. Targeted organic sprays, really work best when they are applied correctly and consistently. Neem oil, which is made from the seeds of the neem tree, disrupts pest feeding, reproduction, and development. And the good news is, it's relatively safe for beneficial insects, as long as you apply it properly. The secret to neem oil success lies in proper mixing timing and coverage. Always mix fresh solutions according to label directions, add a small amount of mild soap as an emulsifier, and apply during cooler parts of the day to prevent leaf burn. Focus on leaf undersides where many pests hide and feed and reapply every 7 to 14 days or after rain. Beneficial insects represent nature's own pest control system, but success requires understanding which beneficial species target your specific pest problems. Ladybugs and lacewings excel at controlling aphids and small soft-bodied insects. Predatory mites specifically target spider mites and thrips. Parasitic wasps lay eggs inside pest insects, providing long-term population control. The key to maintaining beneficial populations is providing diverse habitat, avoiding broad-spectrum pesticides, and sometimes purchasing and releasing beneficial insects from reputable suppliers. So, daily plant patrols represent, honestly, the most critical component of any zero-tolerance strategy. Successful gardeners, develop the habit of spending about 10 to 15 minutes each morning walking through their garden with a cup of coffee, systematically examining plants for those early signs of pest activity. Be sure to look under leaves, check those growing tips, and inspect the soil around your plant bases. Early detection, it allows for immediate action when pest populations are still small and manageable, instead of waiting until damage becomes visible and populations have exploded. Manual removal still remains one of the most effective techniques for controlling those larger pests like hornworms, slugs, and beetles. It's a good idea to keep a pair of dedicated garden gloves and a container of soapy water nearby during your garden patrols. For hornworms, hand-picking during early morning or evening hours when they're most active provides immediate relief. Squishing aphid clusters between your fingers or washing them off with a strong spray of water can eliminate small infestations before they require chemical intervention. Spot treating infestations requires strategic decision-making about when to isolate affected plants and when to treat the entire garden. Small, localized infestations can often be contained by removing affected plant parts or treating only the impacted area. However, mobile pests like aphids and spider mites may require treating surrounding plants as a preventive measure. Always remove severely infested plant material from the garden entirely rather than composting it, as many pests can survive the composting process and reinfest your garden later. Crop rotation disrupts pest life cycles by removing their preferred host plants and, forcing them to find alternative food sources or die. Many pests overwinter in soil or plant debris near their favorite plants, and then they emerge in spring, ready to attack the same crops. By rotating plant families to different garden areas each year, you break this cycle and, honestly, force pest populations to rebuild from scratch. It's smart to plan 3 to 4 year rotations for vegetable families, keeping detailed records of what was planted where each season. Healthy soil creates naturally pest-resistant plants by providing optimal nutrition and supporting beneficial soil organisms. Plants grown in well-balanced, biologically active soil develop stronger cell walls, better natural defenses, and really more robust immune systems. So, let's focus on building organic matter by adding compost, keeping your soil pH in the right range, and avoiding over-fertilizing with synthetic nitrogen. Too much of that stuff can actually make your plants more attractive to pests, since it leads to all those succulent, fast-growing tissues that bugs just love. Integrated pest management, or IPM, is really a long-term strategy that brings all these techniques together into, well, a comprehensive approach. IPM puts a big emphasis on prevention through good cultural practices, regular monitoring through scouting, and intervening with the least toxic methods first. Kind of a smart, layered way to keep pests in check. Now, the zero-tolerance mindset doesn't mean you'll never see a single pest in your garden. What it really means is you don't allow pest populations to reach damaging levels. By sticking with these strategies consistently and systematically, you'll create a garden ecosystem that naturally resists pest problems and, honestly, gives you abundant, healthy harvests. Hey, remember to subscribe to Smart Garden for even more game-changing gardening strategies. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and share this guide with your fellow gardeners who want to take their pest management up a notch. Your garden's future really does depend on the actions you take today.